Hi y'all, this is Tanya Meadows with Apple Tree Homeschool Academy, and today we're making homemade chicken and dumplings. And what you're going to need is some Bisquick, some milk, and just those two items is going to make your dumplings. To flavor your broth, you need some bouillon cubes, some garlic powder, and some chicken boiling. You can either use a whole chicken parts, and what I've got boiling is some chicken breast, boneless chicken breast, because that's what I have. And those have been boiling for a few minutes, so we'll get those good and done. And you're going to need some peas and carrots, or any other kind of vegetables you want to throw in. And you're just going to need a fork and a bowl to mix your Bisquick and your milk. That's it. Okay, in my pot I have about 6 large chicken breasts that are boiling pot here, and what I usually use is about 12 bouillon cubes for this amount of broth. But what you can do is use less and start out with maybe 6 or 8 if you're using a large pot like this, and taste it and see how you like it. And once you get the flavoring and the salt amount in your broth, and you can always add more later, but you can't take away. Now that my pot of water is at a hard boil, I'm going to go ahead and turn that down a bit. It doesn't need to be boiling that hard. Just a simmer is fine until that chicken cooks. And then all you have to do is drop them in, and most likely some of them are going to break up, but that's okay. Just go ahead and drop all of it comes apart into the pot. The color that you're going to end up having in your broth. Now some people go ahead and take a strainer, a little fine mesh strainer, and they will what's called clarify their broth a little bit, but we don't in our family. We don't mind. And you do not want to add any additional salt because your bouillon cubes are going to give you your salt. You can add pepper if you like. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle in some garlic powder. If I were to have some diced up onions or diced up celery or both, I could go ahead and add that in here and let those soften in the broth. You want to wait for your chicken to get pretty thoroughly cooked through before you add your peas and carrots. That's because you don't want your peas and carrots to get too soft. They can go in towards the end and before your dumplings. Okay, this is a good time to go ahead and taste it and check your seasoning, see how salty it is. See if it needs a little more garlic powder. Okay, you take your chicken out of your pot, and you want to either debone it if you are cooking it from a whole chicken or chicken parts, or if in this case I have the chicken breast, I'm just cutting it up a little bit. You can also use 2 forks and shred it by putting the 2 forks back to back and just shredding it into pieces like this. So that's what I'll be doing. At this point, you want to go ahead and throw away any of the fat and bones and discard those. So you're going to pour it back into your broth. Okay, now that we have our chicken shredded, I left them in large chunks because they will dissolve a little bit in the broth. It's time to go ahead and add our frozen peas and carrots. I have about a half a bag here. And I have some corn in the fridge that is left over. I'm going to go ahead and throw in this as well. Okay, this is my leftover corn that I had. And so we're going to go ahead and throw that in as well. Okay, you guys could actually eat this as a soup just the way it is, and that would fill your tummy and make you feel nice and warm on a nice cold winter night, fall evening. Put some paprika, or you can put some red peppers in here and make it a little bit spicy if you like. But I'm going to make the magic happen now. The final step is to make your dumplings. That's about 2½ cups of Bisquick that I poured in my bowl. And you just pour in some milk and you stir up. Now go sparingly on your milk and add a little bit more as you go, and you'll have a little bit of a wet consistency to your dumpling. You want it to be a little bit wet. I'll show you here in a minute after I get this mixed up. I'm going to add a little bit more milk. Let's get this mixed up. Go ahead and mix this up. And you don't want to mix too much. You just are treating this like you do biscuits. If you mix this up too much, your dumplings will become tough. I'm kind of breaking it through. That's probably about the consistency you want. You could probably go a little bit more wet if you like. At this point, it's at a slow simmer. I'm going to go ahead and turn my eye up just a little bit more so it can be rolling, boiling while I'm adding the cold dumplings. So with this at a good boil. It doesn't have to be boiling too hard. Probably that right there is what you want and what you're looking for. Okay, what you want to do is you take your biscuit dough or your dumpling dough with 1 spoon, and you just take about a teaspoonful or so and just drop it into the broth. And we're going to try a couple of these before I do the whole batch. Okay, so what you want to do at this point, as soon as you get a few in, is go ahead and turn them over pretty quickly so that they will not become top heavy, and that way if they become top heavy they won't want to stay turned over for you. They'll finish cooking. Don't worry. Just after you get a few in, go ahead and flip them like so, and they will expand. At this point, you just go ahead and let them boil, and you can remove these and put these in a bowl and add more. I'm going to taste these first and see how they're doing before I make my whole batch. But you do these in rounds. You only do so much and don't overcrowd your biscuits or your dumplings. And I've had people actually take canned biscuits and do this as well. Make dumplings out of canned biscuits, but I like the Bisquick better. Thanks for watching this episode of Apple Tree Homeschool Academy. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe and go ahead and leave us some comments down below. We'd love to hear if you try this at home. Come on back.
Watching our video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below what you thought of the video, and subscribe if you're not. And like always, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.